Why am I so nervous? I prepped everything. I know what to say. Just this, take this. Just do these 4 things and I'll chill out. You're joking. You're not joking. Okay, why didn't you say something earlier? Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Give me 1 second. That's better. Whoa, you look super fresh. Do you have an interview coming up? What's that? You're nervous. No, we can't have that. We're gonna simply fix that with these 4 simple pre-interview tips that are backed by science that will help reduce your pre-interview nerves. Also, if you're new here, my name is Em. I'm a career growth expert and entrepreneur. I have an 80% interview to job offer success rate. And my whole thing is not to provide you universal advice because there's no such thing. I focus on what's universally adaptable advice. When people think of interview prep, they think of the typical career coach advice to prep, and it's the questions, answers, questions to ask at the end. But what no one's talking about is you absolutely need a pre-interview nerves ritual, because no matter how prepared you are for the interview, your mind-body connection is very real. And when you're nervous and anxious, it actually creates self-negative talk, racing thoughts, the shakes, high heart rate. So think of the interview prep for the questions and answers more like your offense, and then the pre-interview nerves routine as your defense. And you're so far from being alone. According to a 2020 study of 2019 adults, 93% of them experience pre-interview nerves. Like, look at this chart, okay? It's second to public speaking and just above first dates. First dates. All of these are super valid experiences. I seriously hate the dentist. Someone's hands are like in your mouth. Anyway, not the point. The point of this video is not to get rid of your nerves. It's actually to manage it and channel it into focused energy. And it doesn't matter if your interview is next week, in 3 days, or it's literally today. Sometimes it hits us the day of, and that's okay. So this video lays out the reasoning, the evidence, and the tangible steps that are gonna take you from nervous to confident in your interviews. So take notes, or don't. I'm not your mom. Now let's get into it. Why should you have a ritual to begin with? Rituals are infamously known to help frame nerves more into excitement. And don't just take it from me, take it from some of the greats. Usain Bolt literally laughs and dances before his races. Adele does breathing exercises before she goes on stage because she's publicly come out that she has stage fright. And don't even get me started on Tom Brady. Now, what should you include in your pre-interview nerves ritual that science says that you should? Doing vocal warm-ups scientifically make you sound more confident. And please do not make that interview or presentation the first time that you attempt to speak confidently that day. Your voice is so important, but people tend to neglect it, even though how you say things is equally as important as what you say. Think about it. Athletes do drills before a game. Soccer players do not wait for the actual soccer game to kick the ball for the first time. That would be kind of ridiculous. Scientifically, vocal warm-ups increase the blood flow to your vocal folds, which then thins the fluid in your laryngeal tissue, making those vocal folds more flexible, which therefore will help you produce a steadier and more confident voice. To be honest, whenever I think of vocal warm-ups, I think of Sharpay Evans from High School Musical. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you do those. I have an alternate option. So many people talk about moving your body and stretching to shake those nerves, but then they forget about the voice. And as a certified yapper, I need to warm it up. What I want you to practice is something that I call vocal flow, which in a sense is just practicing your tone, pauses, and overall communication rhythm. To practice vocal flow, you're gonna need a partner. I want you to call someone the morning of your interview. Make sure it's before the interview. It could be your friend, it could be your mom, it could even be a customer service agent. I don't care, as long as you're driving up a confident conversation and warming up your voice. Because what I don't want you to do is practicing speaking by yourself. You actually want to hear how you converse with another person, because that's where you're going to get organic feedback. And honestly, get out of the way all those awkward pauses and those ums. That will happen if you wait till the interview to start conversing with a person that day, because those happen literally to everyone. And if you have a phone call before your interview where you get those out of the way, you're going to reduce the number of times it's going to happen in the interview. And also get over the fear of saying it, because at the end of the day, like, if your answer is prime, it's not going to matter if you say once. So yeah, if you're watching this a couple days before your interview, schedule a call with that friend or your mom, or call that customer service agent. I just don't recommend doing a voice memo recording solo while you yap, because it's just not organic. It's not an actual conversation, and you are also your worst critic. So you're gonna sit there listening to yourself and building up more nerves and cringing the entire time. That's the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here. Now next, science says that you should incorporate more high quality laughter in your routine because laughter produces a very high dopamine and serotonin hit. Not to mention, not a superficial one. Let me explain. This one's definitely my favorite. I actually did a whole video on why humor scientifically helps you land jobs in interviews. Just saying. Scientifically, laughter triggers endorphins, which ends up reducing cortisol even faster than a pep talk would. So consider this your pep talk replacement. Maybe not this one, which I would argue makes laughter a very high quality and authentic dopamine hit. There is high and low quality dopamine. How does one quantify that? Based on how temporary and authentic it is. For example, a sweet treat. That iced coffee or that donut that you've been craving, yeah, it's great, tastes amazing, but it's also low quality dopamine. Doom scrolling on TikTok, super low quality dopamine hit. Please don't do that before your interview. So given this information, I want you to create a dopamine inventory. It's super simple. It's just a 2-column table where you list out your high quality and your low quality dopamine hits. And don't worry, here's mine for inspo. Take a second, do it in your notes app, write it on a piece of paper, write it on a whiteboard. I don't care. Just get it out of your head. Part of my pre-interview nerves routine is watching something that I find genuinely funny, and you might actually not find it funny at all. I personally love The Office. For those of you who know me, know this is like a part of my personality. I will start the day by watching an episode of The Office because it genuinely makes me howl. I don't want to hear that it's mundane. I don't want to hear that it's overrated. You have your dopamine inventory. I have mine. Let's just mutually respect that. The point is The Office doesn't make me fake laugh. It makes me genuinely laugh. And if you don't have a TV show that you find super funny, maybe you have a friend that you find genuinely funny. Give them a call. Ask them to tell you a joke. This is going to immensely help you shake your nerves. Now next is incorporating a resilient environment check. Science says that clutter literally produces cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And do you need more stress? The research says it doesn't just increase cortisol, but it also reduces concentration. And not just that, the act of cleaning and reducing the clutter in your environment ends up boosting your mood in the act itself. And you want to know why? It's because it's in your control. What I will say, this doesn't just apply to your physical environment. It also applies to your online environment. You know those 50 tabs you have open on your browser? Yeah, should probably declutter those. I know you did a bunch of research. I know you're trying to book a vacation, but we're just focused on the interview today. And I beg you, do not forget to test your tech because tech always does in some way, shape, or form fail. You want to take control of the unpredictability that will end up affecting your confidence. There are so many things that you can do to create a more resilient environment for your interview. Here are some of the things that I have on my list. Make sure you have a glass of water because dry mouth sucks, okay? And it can happen just as much as a tech fail can. I'm not even gonna admit how often I get dry mouth during these videos. Now, finally, science says to swap consuming anxiety for more calm habits. You might not even know it, but you are literally consuming cortisol, the stress hormone, whether you're drinking it, you're seeing it, or just from staying still. Just like you, I'm human, and I love a good doom scroll. Sure, it gives you a temporary dopamine hit, but science says it actually makes you more anxious and nervous in the long run. Before the interview, you need to skip the doom scroll. You need to skip the coffee. Skip the last minute emails. Replace them with a walk, having tea, reading, and focus on your own content, who you are, what you want to say, and your piece, before you start comparing yourself to the world's stresses and expectations. In fact, research says the longer you doom scroll, the more stress you incur. So if you're gonna do it, like you have to, set a timer. Do it for 5 minutes. As per the coffee, reward yourself with one after. Okay, now I'm gonna bring up a breathing technique, okay? Because yeah, scientifically, breathing exercises help you with your nerves. There's no getting by it. As cheesy and cringy you might feel doing it. It lowers your blood pressure and your heart rate. And those are the two main things that make you feel very nervous. What I like to do is the 5-5-5 breathing method. Breathe in for 5, hold for 5, and breathe out for 5. And if you really want to be efficient, something that I like to do is habit stack. The morning of an interview, I will make a tea, I will go outside for a walk, and I will practice my breathing exercises at the same time. Because when you put together a pre-interview nerves routine, it could actually work in the reverse and make you more nervous because you have this long laundry list of things to do. So we're thinking smarter and not harder and stacking things together, so it's actually a more pleasant experience for me. Those are the 4 steps. The order of which you want to incorporate them in your routine really depends on you. So here's my pre-interview nerves checklist. It helps me stay as calm and as confident as possible for my interviews. And feel free to steal it. In fact, I encourage it. What I want you to take away from this video is that you actually have a lot more power over your nerves than you think. What is the actual villain? Our unmanaged nerves. And of course, we all have our quirky, weird, nuanced things that we like to do before a big interview or presentation. So I would love if you commented and let me know what you actually like to do that wasn't mentioned in this video, because honestly, we could all learn from each other. I'm very pro weird and quirky, so just go for it. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. I hope it truly helps you with your interview or interviews. I post career advice videos for every stage of your career, so if you want to stay tuned, subscribe, and I will see you next week. Always well researched and always honest.